What's up guys, Tom back here from Crypto Life Inc. Now today we had a nice little pump for Bitcoin. Let's jump right into the charts, have a little look at the technical analysis and see just how far this pump can go.
Alrighty, let's jump right into the charts and have a look at Bitcoin's recent pump. So we came all the way from around the $36,000 mark up to the $43,300 point, which is $100 point, which is a pretty nice pump, several $1,000s, and we're currently challenging the 55 EMA. So if we can break this, then we can have a little crack at that previous high there at around the $44,300 mark, right? So likely to see probably in the short term some rejection here, and at this point we should really be challenging the 55 EMA because it'll be coming down. If we can break this, then we can have a crack at the 200 EMA, which is around the $46,700 mark, which will really be the signifier of the reversal of the trend here. So this is definitely good for the bulls, but we're probably going to see some kind of resistance at around this point and come back down and test at least the $40,000 mark at the 21 EMA, because this move is just too quick and you always get consolidation when moves are too quick. So you can see here the move was too quick and look at what happened, right? Bounced straight back up. So are we going to form a bigger W pattern is the question, or are we going to just range out sideways before we pump up? Because it's unlikely that we're just going to pump up in this first drive here. We're probably going to see some resistance at this, in between this range here. So that's my short-term analysis. But for the rest of the month, we are postured pretty good. So I do want to point out that we are likely to see some more upside even in the short term for the rest of this month. So we're probably going to see a little bit of a retracement, take back some of this liquidity, and then bounce up here. And you can see this is signified by this RSI pattern that I've drawn here at the bottom, right, in this with the white line. So you can see it's going down all the way from around November all the way down here, and we broke up finally out of it. And what has happened? We've gone up in price, right? So previously in this channel I did say 33k looks like it's going to be the bottom, and what do you know, it was the bottom. So now we're going up for a little bounce, and this is also supported by the RSI. So if we look at the longer term period, we can see that it also does support that we're going to get a more significant bounce here, right? We're currently also hitting the 55 EMA on the weekly, and if we can break past this, then we're looking at a further bounce and continuation to also around the $46,500 mark, which will be a true test for whether we're going to continue to go up or we're going to see some resistance, go back down, and then see if we can break on another attempt. So that's probably what's going to happen within the price range between February and March. We're probably going to reach somewhere around the $46,000 mark. I can see price probably is going to be drifting up around there as opposed to going back down. We've seen too much downside, and now we need to recover some liquidity and liquidate some shorts, basically. Now, that is all I've got to say about this moving averages chart. Let's have a look at some of the other charts to see if there's any confluences we can decipher from all of this. All right, next up we have the Fu Manchu chart, and you can see, sorry about the smallness of it all, but you can see we're trending back upwards. If you jump onto the weekly and look at the indicator itself, we are getting a green dot and the VWAP is coming up. So it looks like we're going to see a little bounce here in momentum for the bulls. And if we jump down to an even lower time frame, you can see a bit more clearly. We can see this red momentum is coming all the way back up again. So it's curved nicely, and we're going to go see some upside. And this could potentially see us rise in the short term within this month to the 46k mark, in which case we're probably going to see some reversal, as we have this blue triangle, which is signaling a reversal, which will happen sooner rather than later. I find that these are pretty much like 80% accurate. They do tend to pan out. You can see previously we had a triangle and it has reversed. So still cautious, not just jumping in all our longs. Let's see if we can break this $46,000 mark. Let's see if we can create a new high first, right? I think it's very likely that we're going to get rejected somewhere along the lines, come down for a bit, and then make another drive back up. That is probably what's going to happen in the short term. So that might help you guys with some trades. And you can see, if you're looking at the super trend, it's also still having that sell signal. So we haven't even crossed the super trend line, which is around the $44,000 mark. So for those people who use these indicators to trade, that is showing you that there's a possible continuation to the upside, but also probably reverse is going to happen soon. So be quick to take profit if you are in a long position, basically, is what I'm telling you. Not financial advice, guys. Go do your own research. Anyways, let's jump into our Traders Reality chart to see if there's any other confluences we can look at. It's time for my favorite chart, right? The Traders Reality chart. We all love this chart, guys. Shows you exactly where the liquidity is. Okay, so what are we doing on the weekly? We're just about to go and challenge the 50 EMA. We bounced off the 5 EMA and now we're just continuing our bounce. So likely to see continuation at least up to the $44,000 mark before we see some rejection. And this might also come and meet the red line, which is the I think it's a 13-day EMA, sorry. And yeah, that's at $45,000 as well. So the 5 and 13 are just there, and the 50 is in the middle there. So that's what we're looking at for short-term price action. There's no liquidity on the weekly chart. So if we go over to the daily chart, we can see there where all the liquidity is. So obviously, we've had this quick move. And we're currently testing the 50 EMA. If we can close above this, then we're looking good to go further up, and we might reach the $46,000 mark even quicker than expected. But if we cannot close above this area, and we get rejected by this blue line here, then we're going to go back down and probably recover some of this liquidity. You can see the fast move and all the liquidity inside of it. So usually they like to recover at least like 60 to 80% of this candle. So they might come back down to around $38,000 mark at the very least in the short term anyway. But you can see there's a lot more liquidity forming upwards and downwards. So that should be an indication of what direction we're more likely to head. So you can see there's only a little bit of liquidity down at $29,000 that we didn't take, and that was from the previous low. Now if you look at what's ahead of us, well, there's liquidity points at around $44,000 to $45,000. There's liquidity all the way from $48,000 to about $50,000, right? So we're not going to get ahead of ourselves and call 100k Bitcoin, but what we can possibly call is some challenges up to this range, the $46,000 mark, right? And the 200 EMA, little bit more hopium wise, like at around $48,000 at this stage, but I think this is much more likely in the short term within this month and potentially the start of next month anyway. So that is my short-term analysis for Bitcoin. Let me know if you guys agree or not, and if you like this video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Bye.